Uh, Episode 396.
Let's go.
And I got a little something to spit. What you see is an artist and an author. Don't you know, of course, I will part the ways, just like Moses parted the sea, and introducing a lady that's young and wise, be. Tabu and blurred lines and soul ties, prolific, the revolutionary muse for your eyes, a Scorpio rising, so what do you know? She's got transformation encoded in her, bro. Deep sight, deep knowledge, streets is what you call college. The artist, the dancer, and the movement. Self-love, you know it's improvement. So today, I want you to see it's knowledge is love, and we got astrology. Sagittarius and Leo moon. Born in September, but I was ready in June. She was cooking, came a little later. She's going to explain it. Here's the lightsaber. 2 Scorpio Rising, bringing on a show. Let's start it up. Knowledge is love, yo. What's up, y'all? Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology, back with another episode of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast. And today, got a new friend and a powerful, powerful young woman here on episode 396. This is an artist, an author. She's starting the self-love movement, the Revolutionary Muse, aka also known as Prolific, and she's got 2 dynamic books out. We're going to learn all about this woman today. I introduced to the show Miss Jessica Weber. How are you today, Jessa?
I am blessed and alive. How are you?
Oh, man, doing so good. I'm so happy. I tell the audience, so we first met at Missy's Mysteries, the best metaphysical shop in Arizona, and she's such a sweet soul, and I'll actually be there soon on November 22nd, and it was funny because for me, I was like, who is this young girl? Like, I just immediately, there was something that I knew, like, I was like, I know her, you know what I mean? And then when you told me you were Scorpio Rising and a Sagittarius and a Leo moon, I was like, oh, okay, Scorpio Rising, I got you.
You're right here. Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Like, but so I want to ask you, being an artist and being in the entertainment industry and now an author, and you've kind of bounced around a little bit, what was it that inspired you to express yourself creatively?
Ooh. Wow. What a beautiful question. So when you ask what inspired me to express myself creatively, are you talking about lifetime? Are you talking about the book specifically? Are we talking about
No, I'm talking about as this artist, this entertainer, dancing, modeling, going to Hollywood. Like that's sometimes people dream of these things, but they don't always want to step out on a stage or be seen or create or speak. So what brought that on?
So I was born as an only child and only grandchild. So it was all eyes on me from the day I was born. Just cameras.
Perfect for the Leo moon, right?
Very satisfied. Yeah, my family would just ate me up with so much attention, so much love, and so much, all the eyes were already on me. So it gave me a chance to express myself creatively because they always wanted to know what I was going to do next. Was I going to make a joke? Was I going to laugh? Was I going to tumble? Was I going to make a project in school? So I had this creative freedom from a very young age because my family was already watching me to see what I was going to do next. So naturally, as I moved about in the world, I had this confidence to continuously creatively express myself in whatever way that would be. And one of my very first loves was martial arts. So my grandfather put me in Taekwondo around, I think, 4 or 5 years old, and I got my 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. Afterwards, I started doing dance. I was like, okay, I'm going to walk away from martial arts. Let's do something different. So I went into dance and hip hop and ballet and lyrical, and I went to different performances, and I loved being on stage because I saw the effect that I could have on others, the inspiration I could give, the smiles I could give, the joy I could give. And then it just kept going. I found the love of the camera, of modeling, and modeling became all encompassing in my life. And
Mm.
from a very young age, probably about 15, yeah, 15, I think is when my modeling journey started in a prom shop. I was shopping for a homecoming dress. Someone came up to me and they were like, "Oh, have you ever modeled before?" And I was like, "No, but I've always thought about it." And from that moment on, my career just went, and I never looked
Wow.
back.
Okay, so now you were born in Chicago, and when did you move to LA?
Moved to LA July 4th, 2018.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Independence Day.
That's interesting. So, what type of modeling did you do?
Mm. So it started off with just like local modeling. For the prom shop, I do a lot of catalog, a lot of commercial modeling for them, their homecoming dresses, community fashion shows. And then I got signed with an agency called Rock Agency in Chicago and Wisconsin. And I did a lot of promotional modeling at first. So I would show up to events and kind of be like the brand ambassador for the event, make sure everyone was having a good time, pass out any promotional materials they may have. And then I got a lot into the fitness and lifestyle modeling. So a lot of lifestyle brands, a lot of fitness brands, a lot of fitness photo shoots. Then once I got to LA, I got really thrown into like the bikini, lingerie, lifestyle scene out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was that transition, was it comfortable, or was LA like so big that you were like, whoa, this is like a lot?
As a Sagittarius, I love to study. So I didn't move to LA not knowing what I was getting into, so I thought. I did a lot of studying of the women out there, of how they showed up, of the photo shoots that they did, how they were perceived. And I started doing that back in Wisconsin when I was in college. So I went to a Big Ten university, UW-Madison, go
Okay.
Badgers. And in that time, I was still modeling. I was collaborating with photographers, multiple photographers every single week, putting myself out there and practicing my angles, getting in front of the camera, doing lingerie shoots, doing implied shoots, and getting comfortable with what that LA lifestyle was going to look like. So I kind of studied and prepped myself beforehand, but nothing could have prepared me for what LA actually entailed.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
only imagine. So, okay, now we'll get back to sort of all that with LA.
Yeah.
But what I kind of wanted to touch on is you've got a lot of different names. And let me tell you something. It cracks me up because that's a Scorpio rising thing. So I'll give you an example before we get to all yours, right? So I'm Eric Taylor. I've been Big E since I was like 6, 7 years old. That was actually my nickname. So
No way.
it was apropos that I came to BigEAstro Astrology because I first started off as Taylor to You Coaching with my business.
Yeah.
But my nicknames, I used to go by E Lover, E Complete, E Scrapper Dapper, just like all these
Super
different,
dapper.
yeah, just different,
Yeah.
nicknames people would give me.
Yeah.
The ones that I really claimed were like my hip hop name, E Complete. But
Mhm.
I always was Biggie, and then other nicknames would come about. But it's just kind of funny because I'd have to ask other Scorpio Risings. I know one of my buddies, he comes on the live, Danny. I don't know if he's, but he's going by Danny and Dan since I've known him. So he may have a bunch of, and he's a Scorpio Rising. So that's why I say that. But
Yes.
what are some of your nicknames? Because you're Jessica Weber, you
Mhm.
go as Jessa,
Mhm.
and then you've got Prolific and all this. So you explain the
Yeah,
whole iteration and the journey of the different name switches.
absolutely. Okay, so my birth name is Jessica Weber. That was given to me at birth, and that will always be with me because that is my assigned name by my birth channels. So Jessica Weber is the core of how this vessel started on Earth, and she will always be here with me. Then, after I went through my growing up in life and I became a model and all of these things, I started going by Jess Webb. I was like, okay, let's make it a little bit more trendy. Let's make it a little bit more cute. So we're just Jess Webb. Everyone knew me as Jess Webb, Jess Webb, Jess Webb. Jess Webb went through a very interesting journey of darkness.
Mm.
Lots and lots of darkness, lots and lots of trauma. Jess Webb became a shell of a person. So when I realized I had to die and be reborn again, I assigned myself a new name. I was like, okay, I just was born again, so here comes another name. And my name was Jessa Sparacino. So Jessa came from just being a unique take on Jessica, because no one ever hears Jessa, and it just fits me and my personality. I love being Jessa. And Sparacino comes from my great-grandmother's last name on my mother's side, so my Italian roots. And so I wear her diamond ring every day. It was given to me when I graduated high school. And she never leaves me. So just as far as is a big part of my core and woman that I grew up to be. And then came Tigress Unleashed. And that's also
what? I never heard of this one. What is it? Say it again.
Tigress Unleashed.
Okay.
So when I first started to find my voice and my healing journey, and I was like, oh, I want to do oracle card reads for people, and I want to do yoga, and I want to become the spiritual mentor of sorts. Tigress Unleashed was birthed because I was like, oh, I know how to free the wild within. I know how to escape. I know how to run. I know how to be independent. I know how to lead others. So Tigress Unleashed was birthed. But as I was still healing and going through things, it never really had its true start. I tried to build it up, and then it kind of just silently will always be a part of me. Then what happened is during my meditations and coming back home to myself, God gave me the name Prolific. Prolific came to me and was like, this is your artist name. This is your legacy name. This is when people who don't know anything about you, when they see you, they know that you are prolific.
Wow.
God gave me that name. And so it's something that at the time I didn't realize the weight of what was given to me. And to this day, I'm growing into who Prolific is and who Prolific is destined to be. And on this journey, Prolific has started Revolutionary Muse.
Right.
And Revolutionary Muse is the brand, is the concept of the self-love and motion movement, of understanding that you can cause a revolution just by being yourself, by sharing your gifts, by sharing your abilities, and that you loving yourself has this power to inspire the world into action.
I love that. And
That's where we are.
that's really powerful and important, right? I think when we are our true authentic selves, that's when we're vibrating, our highest. And I think it's interesting for me because I've always been that way. But when you meet people and you could see sometimes how uncomfortable they are just being themselves, I can't relate to that. So like I feel for them, and it is a skill to, I guess, to teach to others to like, hey, just be comfortable being you and being your authentic self. And you wouldn't think that it's something you'd have to teach others, but it really is. So I think that that's powerful that you tapped into that now, because the revolutionary muse, you talk about it being a self-love movement. What does that mean to you? Because I
Yeah.
know for me as a relationship coach, I tell, and even as an astrologer, I tell my clients all the time, if you don't have self-love, there's no way you could have a healthy relationship and have love for others.
Never. Yeah. I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. You hit it right there. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love the world. If you don't have that unconditional love for you, your lightness, your darkness, and everything in between, then you cannot look at the world with love. You look at it with hatred and shame and judgment, and the world becomes such a cold and dark place because you have yet to find that love within. So that's where the self-love movement started, because I had to find that for myself. Through all of the trauma and things I went through, the world was trying to tear me down. It was trying to make me hate myself. It was trying to make me hate others. It was trying to make me feel shameful. It was trying to make me judgmental. It was trying to bring me down into this dark place. And I realized that love had the ability to conquer all of that time and time again, because God never stopped loving me. So the love that God showed me, I was able to utilize it and put it inwards and find ways to love myself, and life got so much better. Life got brighter. Life got easier. Life got more peaceful. The flowers started to bloom. The birds started to sing. Strangers started to say hello. And I was like, oh, hold on. There's something to the self-love, isn't there? And then I just love seeing a smile on people's faces when they feel seen, when you're able to show up with presence, without judgment, without any external stories, when you can look at someone in the eye and just be there with them, it's magic. There's nothing better than that.
I love that. And, it's interesting because just so you guys know, and hello to everybody in the chat, we're going to get to you guys in a second. Like, that's interesting, right? Because you are the Sagittarius
Hmm.
in the second house with the Scorpio rising and the Leo moon in the 10th. And it really kind of speaks to your journey and things that you've chosen to share in your books. And I want to get into that. But
Yeah.
Scorpio is the truth speaker. And Sagittarius, I think, as the truth seeker, right? That Jupiter seeking the wisdom, the higher knowledge, the expansion and growth. And so with the Leo moon, it's like emotionally, everything's for you has got to come out from your heart. But have you felt, and did you experience this when you were even in LA with the modeling and stuff like that? Would that hinder your relationship sometimes with other women? Would women or men, just people feel a little intimidated once you came or to a place of that um, understanding of self-love and sharing who you are authentically?
Yes, all the time. It even happened to me earlier today.
Mm,
It's little comments when you have this grandiose amount of love inside of you, and you're not afraid to express it and show it. It does intimidate people. It does irk people, and I've noticed an interesting dynamic because there's men and women who absolutely adore it and they love it because it inspires them to amplify their own light, and
yes.
those are my favorite types of people. I mean, we could just eat each other up all day and just share all this love. And then there's the other side where I realize that women get intimidated and they either show it through hatred
Yeah.
or judgment. So there's
Yes.
women who will look at me and start to judge me and be like, what is she wearing? What is she doing? Who does she think she is? She's really not all that. Oh, I bet she had to do this to get that. Or they verbally share hatred with me, where they will walk up to me and be like, "Oh, I could never look good in that like you," or "You made everyone else look so bad because you just look so good, and we don't look as good as you." And people will verbally tell me these things. I had a woman walk up to me in retail one time and look me up and down and say, "I hate you," 3 times. Like a
What?
yes, because she looked at me. She looked at my size, and she's like, "I can never look good in these clothes like you. I hate you. I actually hate you." And said it a third
Now,
time.
was this in Arizona or LA?
This was all LA.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's verbal retribution to showing up in the light sometimes, not just energetic. And with men, I haven't gotten that from men. What I get from men is wanting to have my light, wanting to be close enough to me because they don't know what that self love is like. And so they want to get close enough to me to be able to take it without me noticing. They don't want to verbalize that they don't have it, they just want it for themselves. And
That's
that's,
pretty deep.
yeah.
That's really deep. So I want to get into the books
Yes.
and Taboo. This is the first book. Show us the book, but explain the why to Taboo and what's Taboo all about.
Tabu is my very first baby on this earth, besides my cat. But I didn't birth my cat, so this is my first baby. And what happened is I started writing in my healing journey back in June of 2020. I
Okay.
wrote every single day. To this day, I don't stop. I think I'm on journal 19. And in the process of writing and coming home to myself and studying the cycles and the patterns and figuring out who I am again and how to heal through the darkness, Taboo was birthed. I was sitting in my home one night and writing down lessons that I've learned and revelations I've had along the way, and these 12 steps came to me instantaneously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is profound. And I sat on it for a couple days, and then God brought me back to it and was like, no, you're actually supposed to share this with other people. I was like,
Mm,
oh. So it took me years. I think it took me 2 years to even be comfortable coming to this book, finishing it, sharing it. because I was like, do I really have to share this with other people? These are my innermost thoughts, my innermost beliefs. And so I developed it into 13 steps on how to come back into the heart space. So, for example, the first one is like, life is your birthright. Second one, there is no good or bad, there just is. And there are all these little takes on how to come back home to the heart space, come back home to love, unity, and your center. And then the other end of the book is all of my poetry. So much poetry that was taken directly from my handwritten journals as is and put into the book with pictures that I've took of nature along the way.
Oh,
So
wow.
all in all, this is a healing activation book. It is through and through just a piece of my soul to you on what brought me back home to myself, what brought me back home to love, and kind of just little pieces of inspiration, knowledge, wisdom along the way.
I
Yeah.
love that. So now the steps, if people read that, are there like journal prompts in there or things to kind of push people to find their own way back to self-love?
There are questions in the steps. There's questions in the steps that can help guide you to your own inner thinking on how you want to connect with it. Because I'm someone, I will never tell you what you should believe and
Right,
what's
right,
true for
exactly.
you. Because
Yep,
what's true for me is not always true for you.
that's right.
So a big part, like at the back of this book even says, you are your own guru, you are your own master. All you have to do is remember. So my biggest thing is just giving people the seeds to realize that they are the healer, the master, and the guru that they're
Yeah,
searching
that's what I say all the time. Like,
for.
it's like the power is within you. I'm
Yeah.
here to reflect back and to help you remember, right, through astrology who you are, but you got it all already. And I
You
think
have
that's
everything
what
that you need. Yeah,
yeah, people don't
absolutely.
get that. And it's
They don't.
like, and that's the biggest thing that I think that
Mm.
as Scorpio risings, I know we spoke about this when we first met. But and you'll see even in the iterations as you continue to transform and grow, Scorpio risings, it's like we are like walking X-ray or MRI machines. And it's like
Yeah.
when we meet people, it's like we see them, we see right through them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And
Yes.
that's hard, I think, for people. And what you were saying about the jealousy or this and that. And I
Mhm.
remember growing up, I didn't know this astrology stuff, so I was way older in terms of I just knew I was a Virgo,
Yeah.
but it's such a Scorpio rising thing, and people are not ready to be seen that way and to be so vulnerable. And it's almost like they know that we can see through them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's also where you can get the jealousy and the hate, and because that's hard for people,
I
right? To
have,
feel.
oh my goodness, I have a perfect poem explaining just this. Let's see if I can find it. Oh goodness. You haven't read Taboo yet, have you?
No, 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 no. I gotta jump on in.
You have to. You have to. If I can't find it in a second, because there's so many, but there is one about being a mirror for other people and how they take that and how it kind of shatters their illusions because they see a mirror and they try to project on you without realizing
Mm,
that they're just getting a reflection back of themselves.
wow. So
Yeah.
let's go to the chat, and then we're gonna kind of talk into the
Yes.
the the writing of the books and see who's here today with us.
We have a good afternoon. Hey, everybody. Alana says, I absolutely love your name journey. It's interesting because I tell people my first husband I chose. I learned so much, but my second husband God chose. Like you said, God chose prolific. That is profound.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sometimes, God just does it.
Well,
Does that?
and I tease Alana about that because
Yeah.
I waited for her, right? I didn't get married till I was 37, but I got Saturn
Yeah.
in the seventh house, which literally delays marriage. And
Mm.
I joke with her and I say, "Yeah, you chose. You should have been waiting for God like me." I just, I mess with her and stuff. But like we're
Oh, I
definitely
love
soulmates.
that.
Yeah, we're definitely soulmates. So it's really, really powerful. But so okay, you talk about the transformation because of the healing,
Mm.
and I want you to share whatever you're comfortable with sharing, but share with the audience when you're in Hollywood and modeling and entertainment and doing music videos and all the different things, what were some of the traumatic and negative experiences that you went through? Because we all hear the horror stories about Hollywood, and I was a professional actor and in New York, but I spent time out there as well, and I know what the industry is. It wasn't maybe as intense when I was in it in the early 90s or the mid 90s,
Yeah.
and it's almost like I feel like the monster and the beast. I mean, I guess it was always there, but it's just gotten bigger and stronger. And so, what were some of the darkness that was thrown right in your face and on your doorstep?
Mm, that's a great question. And a lot of it can be truthfully summed up to almost a descriptor. And that is power looking to take control over the naive.
Yep.
Also, the darkness looking for a light source to plug into. So you have this massive city and this massive industry that runs off of projection, off of the mask that people wear, on top of fame, success, money, greed. So you have this perfect equation for these power players in these heavy positions that not only need someone to prey on to get that darkness fixed inside of them, but they also need a light source. So mostly all the trauma I went through was older, more powerful men coming across me on my journey and using me and abusing me for their own personal gain
Yeah.
without me understanding how to stay away from these men, how to get past them, how to move through them, because I came from a pretty broken home. So
Yeah.
not only did I come from a broken home, but I also didn't move to LA with a support system. I moved to Hollywood Boulevard by myself at 20 years old, no family, no car, no job, no knowledge of what Hollywood was. I just put myself right there and was like, okay, let's do it, let's go.
Wow.
And I was quickly sucked into the scene before I realized what the scene actually was.
Yeah.
And then once the cycle starts, it loves to repeat. And with each repetitive cycle, it got stronger and stronger and darker until you learn to stop the spiral to the darkness and start to spiral up to the light. So then the cycles got a little less intense, a little less traumatic, a little less abusive until I was able to jump timelines and remove myself.
Do you think of it as, because one thing about LA, a
Mm-hmm.
little different from New York,
Yeah.
LA, I feel like there's this level of naivete, like you said, but also desperation.
Ooh.
So many people want to leave where they're from, whether it's Chicago, Wisconsin, Kansas, Idaho, Orlando,
Yes.
all over the country, right? I'm going to
Yes.
make it big. I'm going to LA and da 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 da. And a lot of people, they they are really loving what they do, whether they sing, they dance, they act, right? They want to express themselves and find themselves
Yes.
in a show or a movie. It's not, there's some people that just want to be famous, let's keep it real.
But
But there's
LA
people,
is a hub of talented
yeah,
people who
there's
are
exactly, there's so many
the
people
most
who have
creative
pure
people on
talent,
the
yeah.
planet. Yes.
And so do you feel that the power people,
Mm-hmm.
they can sort of sift through and try to siphon those who have more of that light and that naivete to take advantage of them?
Yes. Yes. 100%. I have a few things, because you were just in great points right there. And you said something, desperation. I put that
Yeah.
in my second book, Blurred Lines and Soul Ties. One of my favorite quotes from my independent artist that's up there. His name's Russ. He has gone through it fully independent. He is a great influence on the music industry. And in one of his songs, he says, desperation breeds a beast. The truth won't always be polite. Because you do go to this city with so much hunger, so much desire, so much, desperation to make it and be seen and be
Yeah.
famous and be validated by the world, that your rose-colored glasses are permanently put on because you
Yeah.
just want everything to be true. You want everything to be your big break. You want everything to be that moment that you can actually make it. And if you have those rose-colored glasses on, you are going to get fucked over again and again and again and again and again and again. Yeah. And it's sad because LA is the hub of the most creatively beautiful people I have ever met in my life. When I say it could almost make me cry, because the souls that are in LA, there are some true angels there that are straight from the divine with heavenly abilities.
Yeah.
And the people, unfortunately, who do have a lot of the power and the money and the gatekeepers, as they
don't even want to give those people a shot.
They refuse because their light and talent is so immense that it would disrupt the entire power dynamic of what they have going on, because then the power would be given to the true people who deserve it, and the whole thing would fall down.
Yeah.
So instead of giving them
so true, yeah.
They target them and they use them and they suck their light and talent for everything they have. They take their ideas, they take their skills, they take everything they can from them.
Siphoning, the siphon. And that's so powerful, because I was out there in 99 and I remember that, you know what I mean? Ooh. I was shopping my first screenplay, and I was, doing some auditioning and different things like that. And I could feel the desperation around me. I could feel the light and the talent, but it's like, this is so weird, right? You have people, because this is sort of like imagining the 5D and the new, what I would call like the it's almost like New Jerusalem, but like the new entertainment, the new artists, the new Hollywood, because
the Renaissance.
The old, you're right, they don't want these creative people who are so gifted and talented with the light, because it would disrupt the system that's already built in power structure. But what's so sad is us, the people with the talent and the light, we're looking for their approval, but it's like we need to create our own, because we have the power, and they just have the status and the machine behind them that won't let the people with the light and the real power to shine. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like reverse. It's all backwards. But when you're kind of hungry and you're doing a waiter job, or you got a little expensive apartment, whether it's New York or LA,
5, 6 jobs.
Yeah, you're just trying to survive. You're like, let me get in. And sometimes you can walk through doors that are way, way dark and the wrong doors to walk in, right?
And when you open that door, you don't realize that you just walked into a maze. It's not a door that you can just turn around and leave. It's not a door you open and you're like, oh, this is the wrong door, let me get out of here. No, it's like, okay, now you have to find your way out.
Right.
And it's full of funhouse mirrors.
Wow.
And you just don't know where to go and how to get out, how to come back to yourself. Everything becomes an illusory. Like it's so, what do I even want to say? Distorted. It's so distorted that reality ceases to exist.
So, okay, so let's get to blurred lines and soul ties, because that's heavy, right? And was this kind of built out of your experience through these mirrors and the darkness and the pain? Did I lose you? Jessa? So she may have had some technical difficulties. So you guys, hopefully Jessa can come back in. Her journey and her experience in LA was heavy. And she kind of made it out alive. You there now? Hello?
I think, let's see. Have me
back?
back?
Okay, we lost you. Okay, so let's go back to that. So was, with blurred lines and soul ties, is that sort of your sharing and your experience of escaping sort of the hidden smoke and mirrors in the darkness?
It actually focuses on the darkness more than even escaping it. Blurred
Mm,
Lines and Soul Ties is a tell-all of what the darkness is.
wow.
So it's not even showing, I mean, there's a little bit at the end of how I got out and how things, transgressed, but Blurred Lines and Soul Ties is not an escape story. It's a true story of what the darkness actually is. It is a tell-all of everything that I went through. A very, very mythic, memoir, fantasy type of essence. It's
Mm,
fast-paced, it's dynamic, and it's heavy, and it's very deep. And I did this because I think it's important for voices like me and other people to be heard. Because when you hide the darkness, when you keep the darkness of what you went through hidden, it gives it
yeah.
more power. Because the darkness loves shame. It
Yeah.
loves when you're quiet. It loves when you put yourself in that corner.
Well, because then
And
it continues to exist.
yes, yeah. And so Blurred Lines and Soul Ties roaring through the darkness and being like, hey, none of that has power over me, nor the woman I am today and the woman who I'm destined to be. I outed myself before anyone could ever say anything about my past.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's so brave and courageous. I got to commend you because, see,
Thank
that's the one thing that people don't realize about Scorpio risings. We're not just truth speakers about like what we see externally. We
you.
can share our dark moments, our mistakes, our wrong decisions, our
Yes.
imperfections, and admit to our truths. Like I tell people, admit it, man. Like, yo, I've transformed so much, but there were days, when I was younger and I was just like, smoking weed all the time
Wild.
and
Yes.
experimenting and doing acid and ecstasy and this and that or whatever. And it's like, you've got to come to a moment and a decision. And I think it's very clear. I think for anybody that's really transformed in their life,
Yeah.
there's almost like that movie and the scene in the movie, right? Where you're like, this was it right here. I decided
Yeah.
at this moment, no more. Did
Yes.
you had that clear? Okay.
That moment's in the book because
Yes.
the same as you, this book is so special to me because it's so deep. If you really read it and pay attention, it is so complexly layered, if that's even a word, complexly. It has all of these complex layers to it that it just makes me so happy because the symbolism runs very deep. It includes the smoking, it includes the drugs, it includes the darkness, the shadow, and you get to see how it gets you deeper and deeper and deeper into those blurred lines and soul contracts. And that one moment for me where in the movie, where you choose to fight was when I was involuntary put on a 5150 psychiatric hold under a suicide watch by my own mother.
Wow.
In that moment, when I was in that psych ward, involuntarily, couldn't leave, I looked around me and I said, how did I get here? And I have been so close to death so many times. If I
Really?
keep walking this path, I am going to die.
Hmm.
So there is either a choice of death or there's a choice of life.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a child of God. And God
Yeah.
loves me and I love this world and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So I was like, you know what? I have to pick life. I have to. And so after I made that choice, my whole life started to shift. I mean, it's uphill battle, but that was that moment for me. That was the big choice.
So we're going to get back to the chat. I see a couple more comments, so they may have some questions. Now, you're going to kind of go back to taboo and like take us through like a little meditation or something. But I want to just stay with blurred lines for a second because do you feel we're at a place after the Me Too movement
Mm,
and kind of being in Pluto Aquarius and the age of Aquarius now, very beginning, that some of the restraints and control and power and shackles of the darkness in Hollywood is going to dissipate or do you feel like it's just,
Yes,
or do you feel like it's just gonna hide to kind of come back in a new costume?
I think it's never going to change. We're on Earth. The darkness will never cease to exist. It's what we signed up for. Not only will the
Mm,
darkness not cease to exist, it's actually within all of us. We all
yes.
have a bit of that darkness that we think is so wrong. And that's undeniable. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to disappear. But I do believe that it's going to balance out
Yeah.
so that the light is now in the spotlight and has control of the direction of the earth. So the darkness has been in the driver's seat. The darkness is like,
Yes.
this is my car, this is my vehicle, and you're going to look at me driving my Lamborghini. And the light is now like, you know what? Put that Lamborghini away, get out of the driver's seat. I'm going to go jump in my Jeep over here, top down by the ocean, and you're in my car now.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
that's what I see the shift is happening. It's not going anywhere, but it's no longer going to be in the driver's seat in the flashy car.
Yeah. And I think with more people revealing truth and these stories, and they're all over the internet. And obviously, we know the
Oh,
whole thing with the
yeah.
Epstein Island and this and that. And I think what the saddest thing is that for the people who still idolize celebrity and think that, oh, they could never, oh, they wouldn't do that, not them,
Oh,
not this, and you want to laugh and be like, no, no, them too,
them
and
too.
yeah, all of them, and yeah, they would.
Yes. And that was one of the hardest things in my journey was, oof, after the first assault happened to me by a celebrity. After making it out and getting on the other side and things, seeing people idolize them afterwards, seeing clips of them on social media talking and preaching things that they don't even live. And people
Yeah.
are just like, all hail them. You're so smart. You're so brave. And we love you so much. And I'm just like, do you know who this actually is? Do you
Months.
know what they actually do behind closed doors? And what you're seeing is all fake. It's all a show. They're regurgitating information from someone else, but they just happen to have the platform.
Yes, and that's what I think people don't get. It was very clear for me when I got into the industry. I was able to assess it right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, for myself, I was like, okay, I know what this is. So if I'm going to be in it, I've got to be smart and safe and play to the way that I want to move.
Mm.
And then when it's time for me to go, I'll just go and do something on the outskirts. You know what I mean? Because I tell people, like, I've done 2 hip hop albums, and I was never willing to sell my soul and change how I wanted to write so that I could get with a big label and
Yeah.
just be pimped out and played out. And I was like happy to sell my little bit of movements and units,
Yeah.
but authentically be able to, do and write how I felt was really me and true hip hop. And
Absolutely.
I don't envy these people because I know what they've had to do to get these measures of success. And I actually feel sorry for a lot of them. There's a lot of sadness and darkness that people don't understand. These artists, a lot of them want to escape and get out of that, like you said, the house of mirrors. And a lot of them, there's no way out, right?
They're too far in. And it's sad because it is mostly everybody, but there are also successful people in Hollywood that didn't have to completely sell their soul. I do
Mm,
believe that as well. And I believe there's a few lights there, wherever they're sprinkled in. They're not your big showboat celebrities, but there are a lot of very successful people there who have to at least hold that pillar of light. Because if the darkness had complete control over everything, I wouldn't even know how much worse of a place we could be in right now. And
mm,
we're in a pretty dark place, but I do stand firm that I believe that not every single person who made it in Hollywood is corrupt. I
mm.
truthfully believe that there are some stars in the night that have done it a right way, and those usually are the people with connections, of family connections, of friends of a friend who were able to do it in a protected manner. They had armor on them.
Mm. I hope so.
You know, that's a very optimistic take, but
Yeah. That's some
I like
Sagittarius stuff right there for me.
even after everything I've been through, I still hold on to that
No,
nugget.
no, and I'm very optimistic too,
Yeah,
and so that's why I kind of I think it's death by a thousand like wounds, right? Stabs, right? And
yes,
each time I hear about another person that's like, oh no, them too, and I'm like, oh no, not so and so. You know what I mean? Because I am pretty optimistic, and I respect people with such God-given talent. But
yeah,
then when you hear about these evil things, like you said, and then they're talking on the media, but behind closed doors they live in another way. It can be
yeah,
disheartening, But we have to understand
absolutely.
that.
That's why they always say never meet.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
ever want to have these idols. Yeah, idolatry, false idols. So let's get a couple more comments, and then I want you to
Okay.
share with us. I think you said you were going to share something from Tabu or like a guided
Absolutely.
thing. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So- And you can read
All
the
right.
people's
Let's
names
see.
too, because I think we have a couple of questions.
Okay. Cephas.
Yeah, hey Cephas.
Five. When someone feels numb or blocked, what's the first micro practice you give them to spark their inner music? Dancing.
Mm,
Dancing.
Dan.
I don't care who you are, where you come from. If you feel numb and blocked, put on some music by yourself. Don't even be in front of a mirror. Fucking dance.
Yeah,
I want your arms. I want you to shake your hips in some performance, like just for yourself. Dancing is the
yeah.
number one way to start to connect with your inner muse and feel something again.
I love that, and it makes you feel free and alive when you dance. It just does.
Oh, it's just so good. That's the number one go-to. Cephas has another question. How do you invite
Okay.
intensity without re-traumatizing participants? What consent or grounding steps are non-negotiable in your sessions? That's a great question.
Wow. Yeah, Cephas is deep.
Intensity with traumatizing participants. What consent or grounding steps are non-negotiable in your session? This is a great question. I for one always invite intensity. My presence demands intensity and depth, but I always use questions like, what's one of my favorite questions? I invite you, or are you comfortable with? Like
Mm,
before setting the stage for anybody, I always say, I invite you to share however much you'd like to. Or if I'm even leading the yoga session, I invite you into this posture, into this pose. It's more of an invitation so that
yeah,
they are able to use their free will on how much they're willing to share.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I invite is one of my favorite, just pure questions in anything that I do.
Well, because you're also not assuming anything on them or forcing anything, and you're empowering them to feel safe as they're joining you in any energy or exchange or anything, and so that's very healthy, right? I like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Like, yeah, the consent and grounding negotiable before doing anything. Well, we're taking at least 3 breaths. Like, if we're jumping into any practice, any deep conversation where we're sharing, where we're meditating, where no matter what, we're just gonna take some breaths together. That
Mhm.
is an absolutely non-negotiable of keeping the conversation open, consensual. I invite you, I allow you, questions and then breath. Absolutely breath.
Okay, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. All right. Any other questions? That was a good one, Cephas.
Those are great questions. This is a comment from, let's see,
Yeah, Quintella. Yeah.
Quintella Understanding. Ooh, they got us in survival mode, and that's how they stay on top. Once we all realize we create our own reality and we step into the love frequency, this world will be a beautiful place for all. That's what's going on right now. You get
Yeah.
it. You get it very clearly. I don't
No,
even have
but she's so deep though, and that's the thing. Like, like Quintella has a Pisces moon, and there's something
to.
about I see that like with you with the Leo moon and Pisces moons, Cancer. There's something about holding the space and staying in the heart frequency and the love.
Yes.
And I honestly feel that there's certain astrological placements where that is easier to do
Mm,
than it is for others. You know what I
100%.
mean? And it's not a judgment. It's not even like a critic. It's just fact. It just is. And it
They're too
doesn't mean
strong
for
in their
those, right. No. And it doesn't mean for those that like it's challenge, like that it's harder, that they can't do it. They can. It's just you've got to find your vehicle to kind of to ease into that, you know what I mean, and get invited by someone like you or Quintella. Like I see that with Leo, Cancer, Pisces moons. You know, I have to think of some others, but those are the three that I see this inner light, but holding the space. Like I'm a Capricorn moon, right? And so for
Mm,
me, it's very heavy. But what I like, and I want people to really understand this, that with any Capricorn placement, especially Sun Moon Rising, over time, it gets better and more youthful, and
yeah,
it learns like the Capricorn moon, right? So when I was
yeah.
a child, I would keep my emotions within, wouldn't share, and so then I had to learn how to process my emotions better, and then
Mm,
be able to share them. You know what I mean? And
that's
so,
big for a Capricorn.
oh God,
Yeah, that was
like
big.
for me, you know,
That's
Capricorn moons were just like, if the world's not ending, then I'll just get back to work, right?
right.
You know,
Let me just work. I'm gonna stay over here. I don't care about your emotions. Did you file them?
exactly,
Did you post
Capricorn
the
moon is.
template?
But I have to catch myself, right?
Yeah.
Because I am very intuitive and aware as the Virgo and the Scorpio rising, but it's like, yeah, I can get engulfed. Like, you know, like there's times where like I could not go to bed and I could just work. But then you have to think of like, well, what's better for your body and your health and like all these things. But I just love that, that invitation to the light and the love and the heart
Mm,
that I think flows a little bit easier for Cancer, Leo, and Pisces moons, you
yeah.
know?
I mean, I have a
So,
Capricorn Mars, and that Capricorn Mars can be ruthless when it comes to work and discipline and
oh yeah. Because that's
work.
the CEO boss, right? And so Capricorn Mars, and you know, you also have the Neptune there, and I want to ask you about that. But that Capricorn Mars, it's it's like it's about its business, you know, and it's hard for Capricorn Marses to really work for other people. I find too, you know.
It's impossible. It's almost
Yeah, no,
impossible.
you gotta. And
Yeah.
with the Capricorn Mars and the Scorpio rising, it's like, yeah, you're supposed to do your own thing, you know. So let me ask you, with
Yeah.
the Neptune in the third house, actually in Capricorn, did you find
Yeah.
yourself daydreaming a lot as a young girl? And do you feel that the Capricorn Neptune in the reading, writing, and communications, do you feel like that kind of tapped you into the self-love movement, the revolutionary muse, and the writing of the two books?
Oh, 100%. As a little girl, I wrote books already. I would interrupt family parties just so I could go in a back room and read my book. I'd like, you guys are too much for me. I'm gonna see you later. I'm gonna go in the back and read my book and come out when I'm done. And like
Wow.
I wrote books. I would get on old Microsoft programming and write little stories, and I would be the one looking at raindrops on the window of the car, just picturing music videos and being so deep in my emotions and my creativity. Like I was a big daydreamer, a big performer. Yeah, that was a massive part of my life, and linked to the books and the expressions and everything I do today. Everything
I
that I
love
do today, you'll see linked to the younger version of me, because that's what was God given to me. Those expressions
so
as a child.
Was that very much, because I always like to ask my guests, like, you know, who was 10-year-old Jessica? And was a lot of that what you just explained, the daydreaming? But could you have imagined Hollywood and the author and all that at 10-year-old, as a 10-year-old?
Absolutely not. There was a very quiet voice in the back of my head that always dreamed of being famous and being known and performing on big stages and having a family and a mansion, and like those hidden fantasies I never told anybody about. I kept them locked away kind of back here, and the forefront of who I thought I was going to be was a doctor, was a forensic pathologist, was a neurosurgeon, I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I loved psychology. I knew I loved the brain, and I wanted to make a lot of money. So that Capricorn-esque in me was like, this is how you do it. This is how you're disciplined. This is how you follow the matrix and create a new life for yourself. So I truthfully thought I was going to become some sort of forensic pathologist, a surgeon, a doctor without borders. Like that's who I thought I was growing into, knowing that this fantasy existed back here, but had no idea that I was going to actually start to follow it and take steps towards it.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, I did not know that. That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really fascinating. And Mars, Neptune, Capricorn, it's like I could, almost like see that. And there's something about um there is something about Scorpio risings in a sense that we are like these spiritual detectives. And there
Yeah.
is something about the forensics that is connected to the Scorpio energy. And we naturally do want to help large groups of people, right? When you have that Virgo in the 11th house, you're going to, whether you have a sign, planets there or not, there's going to be a measure of the humanitarian aspect to a Scorpio rising that
Yeah.
they want to see others be the best versions of themselves, groups and organizations. So
Yeah.
that's really powerful. So why don't you take over, and if you want to lead us in a meditation or tell us about some of your yoga stuff or whatever, the floor is yours. What do you want to do?
Wow. That could be just about anything. Like one, one of my favorite things to lead before we go into this elemental exercise that I practice every day is
Mm,
yin yoga sessions. So a big part of this journey, we haven't talked about it yet, but after that choice of choosing life, after that 5150 hold and finding myself, I actually became a boxer. I became a fighter, came back to martial arts. I had a
wow.
2-year run of becoming a boxer and trained with fantastic people. I trained with George Foreman's son, George Foreman III. I trained with these big Hollywood trainers who brought me back home to my body and myself.
Wow.
And after having all this yang energy and fighting and discipline, I needed something different. So I switched to yin yoga. And yin yoga is what I still practice to this day. I hold little self love ceremonies. I do a lot of one on one workshops, one on one practices. And yin yoga is that practice of holding postures anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes
Okay.
in complete stillness.
Mm,
Stillness, silence, and breath. And in that moment of holding your body in these postures and breathing through your fascia to the connective tissues, to everything, it begins to release, it begins to open. And it is one of my favorite things to facilitate when I can, because watching people before and after a session is like night and day. It's
wow.
true alchemical work. Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of alchemy, let's go into an actual tangible practice that is very easy to talk about to do every day. It's in
Okay.
Tabu. It's called Embody. So, on
Okay.
top of the 13 steps in Tabu, there's a list of affirmations that you can read and speak to yourself, say out loud in the mirror, and then there's an embodiment exercise. An embodiment exercise is pretty much talking about the elemental foundations of your day. So, how to connect with fire, water, earth, air, and spirit one way in every day. And that is
Mm,
the best grounding practice to keep yourself centered in your life and centered to God. So, fire I associate with wealth and passion. So, fire is whatever makes your eyes light up, whatever makes your heart sing, and making sure that you do something every day, whether that's dancing, whether that's singing, whether that's picking up a coloring book, whether it is actually looking at a fire, a flame, lighting a candle, and fire gazing, making sure that you connect yourself to that fire element one way every day. And then you move on to water, which I associate with health and intention. So that means when you're drinking water, are you fueling your water with life? Are you saying,
mm,
I love you? Are you saying, I am abundant? Are you saying, thank you? Are you saying, I am prosperous? I am nourished? I am wealthy? I am taken care of? When you take a shower, are you intentionally speaking to the water? Cleanse my body and release my body from anything I no longer need. Wash away anything unpure and refill me with purity. Using water intentionally is very, very important and consuming a lot of it. Then you move to earth. So Earth, we all know we live in a very, very fast life. Are you taking time to say hello to that tree in your yard? Are you
Mhm.
taking time to see the butterfly that flies past you and say, wow, what a beautiful butterfly? Are you taking time to go touch some grass? Are you doing something one way and every day that reminds you that you are connected to Mother Nature, that you are connected to Earth? So far we have fire. Look at a candle or do something that ignites the fire within. Water. Speak to your water. Let it cleanse over you. Consume a lot of it. Earth. Make sure that you are giving thanks for the earth we live on and
Yeah.
showing gratitude and intentional presence with what's around you. Then there's air, which I associate with your mind and with peace.
Mm.
Air is a very, very, very important element every day. So making sure you're getting outside, feeling wind on your skin, opening up the windows in your house, rolling down the windows in your car, and taking just intentional breaths. If
Mm.
it's cold, if it's chilly, if you're like, oh, I can't open a window, are you breathing? You're breathing, right? Like use feeling that air, even if you have to put your hand in front of your face to
Yeah.
you have
That
now
is.
touched on air. So
Yeah.
making sure that you're connecting with that element because that is your peace. That is your serenity. That is your grounding. And then the last one is spirit. That's the fifth element. And there is no rules, no guidelines, nothing I can tell you on how to connect with the spirit element every day. However you connect with spirit, that's how you connect with it. As long as you do it every day and you honor all the elements every day, you will see a massive, massive amount of peace, clarity, and grounding wash over your life.
Mm. I love that. It's so funny when you were saying that. A lot of the things you were saying, my tribe and my people would tell you that's stuff that I say all the time.
No
You
way.
know, so, yeah, yeah. Especially the water. Talk to your water. Give
Yes.
thanks, gratitude,
Come
right?
on.
And it's important, right? Because water
And
is
it's so
memory.
simple.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. So that's really powerful. And also I love, connecting to the earth because we
Yeah.
live on it, but we have to understand getting the Schumann resonance, right? And just honoring
Woo.
Gaia and the trees. The trees have the wisdom, tap into the mycelium network, all that stuff. So it's very important. And the fire, right? That goes to that Leo moon and a Sag for you. But do you know that big time corporations, they had done a lot of scientific research and they found that 30 minutes a day of pure like play and joy, it makes their workers more productive, right? And
Yes.
think about it, that's activating the heart chakra, right? So if you color, if you laugh, you dance, you play, and you do that 30 minutes a day, it is going to, improve your life, and
Yeah.
literally living a life of purpose, and being your authentic self, like
Mm.
that's
It's
the real
undeniable.
key. I love
It
that.
really is. And even in the book right afterwards, here's a picture I took of a rose I had. And then
Uh-huh.
there's space where they can actually fill out. So there's different lines for affirmations like I am, I feel, I embody, I speak, I
Yes.
see. And then your daily fire action, your daily earth action, like what are you going to commit to? And so it kind of gives them this place to commit to some affirmations and actions that they can hold themselves to and open up and be
All
like,
right.
okay, this is what I'm doing.
So the
Yeah.
most important thing, tell them where they could get the book at and order it. Can they get it directly from you, Amazon, where?
Amazon. If you want a signed copy, you can reach out directly to me via Instagram or my website, r3m3.com. And that's where everything is hubbed. Everything is on r3m3.com. It will take you everywhere that you need to go.
r3m3.com. Okay.
Yep, everywhere you need to go. But yeah, both books are on Amazon. They are both available on physical copy and ebook copy. And I will be working on the audiobook for Tabu very soon.
Oh,
And as for
cool.
Blurred Lines and Soul Ties, Big E knows this, but I am really holding the vision for Blurred Lines and Soul Ties to become a movie, to become a film.
Screenplay, yeah, movie, yeah. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna
It
happen.
is.
I
It
already
is.
I already see it. And
Yes.
so, okay, so But the audiobook, do you have that for Blurred Lines or just for Taboo? It's coming.
Just for Taboo, I believe.
Okay.
I still have to record it, still have to put it out. It's something that's been on my heart for a while. And I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if I want to do an audiobook for Blurred Lines. It's so intimate and it's a lot of
Right.
journey
No, I get that. Yeah, that would
takes
be a
that
little trickier. So,
very
okay, so on when they go to Amazon,
yes.
and you guys, all her links for her website are down below. But if they wanted to just go to Amazon right now, it's under Jessica Weber.
It's under, you could do by Prolific. So Taboo,
Oh, by
TABU, by Prolific. And then you can hit my artist name, find my other book, or just put Blurred Lines and Soul Ties by Prolific, and everything is right there.
all right, by Prolific. I love
Yeah.
that. Oh my God. Okay, so that's really cool. And yeah, I'll have to get me the audio copy because I'll be on the go and I could be working and I can listen to Taboo. I love that.
Promise.
That's what I mainly
Now that I
do
moved,
is
yeah,
listen to the audiobooks, So that would
that's
be really
good.
perfect. So, okay.
Yeah.
Now, as we get ready to wind down,
Yes.
and I want you to, check back in with the audience, see if there's any more questions and stuff. Are there, okay, when did you escape, I like to say,
Ooh.
Hollywood and LA? Did you just leave in 23, 24? When did you leave?
Yeah, I left 7 months ago.
Wow. Wow.
I left in March of
And I
2025.
just met you, what, like 5 months ago, 4 months ago?
You met me right after. Yeah. The
Wow,
greatest escape.
literally 7 months ago. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It,
That's
it's
so
I've
this
been on
is
such
still
a journey.
right. No. So this is still kind of raw for you in a sense, but you seem so healed and on the other side.
Mm.
What were like the number one or the top two things, right? Getting you out of this like facility, getting you out of LA. What were the two motivators or the two biggest things of awareness for you to get you to just go?
I can tell you the exact two events that happened actually.
All right.
In
Let's do it.
January of 2025 was the big LA fires.
Yeah.
Palisades on fire. The city,
Yeah.
you walk outside, it's black, it's apocalyptic. We're in flames, where people, hundreds and thousands of people are losing their homes. I mean, the amount of grief and
Yeah.
loss that filled the
I had a
city.
lot of friends that lost places. Yeah.
Not only that, I was underneath the Runyon Canyon fire. For some reason, I left work early. My body what felt like it was crashing out. I took a shower. I fell on my bed, crashed out, woke up, and I was like, I need to go outside. Walked outside, the sky was in flames. I have never screamed so loud in my life. I felt like I was in the apocalypse. I ran upstairs, and I live on Franklin Boulevard at this moment, Franklin Avenue. So I would be in a gridlock if I did not run. If this fire made it down Runyon Canyon, I would be stuck. So I ran upstairs, grabbed my cat by the back of the neck, threw her in a pouch, grabbed my social security card, my laptop, and ran. And just left the city as far as I could, put myself in a hotel. Thankfully, Runyon Canyon fire never made it down the canyon. I was able to go home. Everything was safe. Everything was fine. A couple weeks
Wow.
after that, so mid-February, I come home and I have to drive in this gate to park my car. And again, Franklin Avenue, not the best place. Two men are guarding the gate that I use to park. And my ancestors told me someone's waiting for you. Like, someone's waiting for me? What do you mean someone's waiting for me? So I park my car, come down the lot, and these men are looking me up and down, up and down, up and down. They hug each other, and the one that's looking at me, his whole face goes black. His pupils no longer exist. I was like, oh, I'm dealing with an entity. So cars are, and thankfully this woman stopped and saw me. And as I ran across the street, they ran after me. And I opened my gate as fast as I could, slammed it behind, and the guy said, you should have just done it. You gotta just do it. I went upstairs that and just cried. I sobbed. I visibly just held myself and couldn't stop
But
crying.
what did he mean? You should have just done it.
It could have been anything. What, were you carrying a knife? Were you carrying a gun? Did you want to kidnap me? Did you want to give me a gumdrop? I don't know. But there was two men who chased after me into my door, so much so because my discernment is my survival skills are very high. So much so that I knew I had seconds to open that door and get myself in.
Damn.
And so I bursted out, and I'm alone. I've been single and independent this entire time. So I'm upstairs just crying myself, being like, what am I actually still doing here? I have almost died so many times. What am I proving to anybody? Why am I still here? My nervous system is fried. It's shot. There is no
Right.
peace to be found. No matter how much healing I've done, no matter how much work I've done, I'm not going to ever be grounded right here, right now, and I have to leave. And so I asked my landlord to break my lease, and I was like, I need out of here. I need to go. And he's like, if you find someone to start a 12-month lease, you're out. You're done. And that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Divinely ordered.
Ooh, all the time. All the
Well,
time.
let's end with a couple more questions or comments in the chat. I think people are like really that's heavy.
Oof. Yeah, it's deep over here. I thank God I look like nothing that I have been through. And I give thanks. Oh, Quintella said, that's amazing how much you are glowing and you just recently left. Thank you.
Yeah.
Phoenix has been very, very great to me thus far, and I've just been nesting and resting, and it's amazing. I'm glad I got
So
out safely too.
can I ask you, were there any other places you thought of going? What called you here? Because I know people always ask me, Alana, why'd you guys move to Arizona?
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I couldn't, I was teaching and I didn't want to raise the boys anymore in New York. And we planned on having maybe a third kid, didn't plan on
Right.
four, but, like all the stuff. Right. But for me, there was something bigger because
Mm,
what people don't know about Arizona that I've come to understand, it is such a spiritual place, y'all. It's crazy. I mean, the mountains are way different from the valley, and there's green, and there's desert, and there's this, and there's that. But
yeah.
when you've got Sedona and the Grand Canyon, and then you start to realize, like, wait a minute, this is like the old world, and oh, the Smithsonian and hieroglyphics, and oh, what was really there, and then you're like, this is a very powerful place, right?
Yes. Oh, you get me so excited. Yeah, I'm blessed to be here. So what happened is I've had Hawaii on my for a very long time. I,
Mm,
I I will be on an island eventually, or out of the country. Like that's what's happening next. But where I needed to go right now was back home to my ancient roots. And I kept hearing Arizona, and I was feeling I have such this affinity towards ancient Egypt. And I was being told through my guides, like, hey, do you know Arizona is tied to ancient Egypt? Do you know that Arizona is ancient Egypt? I was like, oh, this is crazy. Hold on. So I started doing some research, and then there's one article released in 1909 from someone who found this like black site in the Grand Canyon and found hieroglyphs and statues and all of these
yep, the
things.
hieroglyphics and artifacts. Yep.
And this I found this article after I signed my lease for my casita, whose address is 1909. So then my mind went, you are in the right place. And one of I was called here. This state, just much like LA, it calls you.
Yeah.
It draws you in because there's something that you need here. There's something that you need to see, something that you need to receive. This land is very, very magical.
I had no idea. And it's been really challenging and tough for myself and my family out here. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's kind of turned me into all of this. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know if I didn't come out here that I would be doing what I'm doing now, honestly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how in New York I would have left teaching. I was doing sports radio. When I first came out here, I was thinking about getting back into teaching, continuing and going forward with sports radio and all these things and getting back into writing. And then it was through Arizona getting sick with the valley fever, which is not fun, that kind of that and the Uranus opposition when Uranus was in Aries, that kind of led me back to something that I always loved as a child, which was astrology. You know, so Arizona, and, you know, I tell people all the time in New York City, you don't, you know, you have the buildings and all the lights, you don't really look up, and you may see the moon, but you don't see all the planets and the stars. You come out here to Arizona, I mean, I've seen UFOs like
Come on.
on the regular. You see this, you see the planets, like you see the stars out here, the sky, you see it. And it's like you see the astrology. And that is kind of like, and oh my God, and Sedona, and I've, you know, we've seen like the little blue beings in Sedona. Like I had no idea. And so, yeah, Arizona, it's almost like it does call you.
Special. And
It
and
does call you.
I just arrived. I'm in this beautiful chapter of not having any output. You're not really seeing me on social media right now. You're not really seeing me out and about. You're not really seeing me curating anything. I'm in this final moment of the cocoon, of getting wrapped up for this new identity that Arizona is helping me birth. And I honestly wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
That sounds really beautiful, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you. This was like so prolific.
I live up to the name.
It's so much fun. I want you to share. Now, listen, do you do any, like, you know, one-on-one work with people? Do you do any, you know, thing? I know you teach the yoga and different things. You know, if there's anything you want to share or anything you want to promote, let the audience know. Give them the website again. If you have an email, they can reach you.
Yeah.
The floor is yours. Share.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you are still here, it's a pleasure. We feel your energy. It's so positive and engaged, and we give thanks for that. You can find me at any social media at Revolutionary Muse, and the E's are threes. So as you begin to type, make sure you do R3, VOL, etc., etc. The website has everything linked, which is even easier. R3M3.com. Everything is hubbed there. You could find my books. I do have some offerings on there of one-on-one oracle card sessions. I also have self-love healing kits for someone who wants a big investment of a ritual to come back home to self, a personalized box, a kit designed just for you. I'll channel your higher self on what you need right now to come back home so that I can guide you back to yourself. And the floor is really open for any other requests. If you want to work one-on-one or have a personal phone call or anything that you feel called to work with me in any capacity, my doors are always open. And my email is also on there. It's ancient.devotion8@gmail.com.
I love it. I love it. I love it. See, y'all don't understand Scorpio Risers, man. We can't help but do stuff and be deep. And with her Sag Sun and Leo Moon, it's going to be filled with wisdom and love and passion. And so that is the self-love movement. And I just thank you. You know, I really thank you. It was, you know, so awesome when my wife and I met you, and I was just like, and then obviously when I saw you again, I was like, yeah, you know, we got to connect. You got to come on the podcast. You have to share your light with my audience and your story. And I really encourage you guys to connect. I mean, you know, Jessa is extremely authentic and just like really, really good people. And I think that's what the world needs more. We need to put more Scorpio risings out into the world.
We do. But the thing is, we like to hide too. So you gotta lure us out with some cookies.
I know. But, you know, I thank you for speaking your truth and putting the pen to pad because, you know, it's very vulnerable. You know, I'm almost done with my first book. Wifey's like grinding it out for me and formatting and doing all this editing and making everything come together. You know, we're really co-writing it together. But, I've written a screenplay. I've written a play. I wrote a book of monologues that I couldn't get published at the time. And, and it's just, writing has always been my freedom and my savior.
Mm,
I remember when I was depressed, I wrote myself out of depression.
yes.
And that's, I encourage people to write.
Yes.
It is so powerful, and I think honestly writing is what got me to Arizona, because I my play that I wrote about, six, it's the first supper, so it's 6 men, 6 women find themselves in a position to start the world all over again. And when they awaken, they find themselves, I wrote this in 1998,
You
they
told
find
me.
themselves trapped in a house in Arizona in 2027, and there's
Oh,
a black hailstorm going on. Yeah, I'm going to try to, retouch it up a little and get it to HBO. But yeah, it's one of those things where
yes.
I wrote that in 98. I never thought in a million years I would live in Arizona. You
Profound.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never. And I went to Arizona once when I was in college in 93. I had a girlfriend at ASU, and she lived in New York, and she was there, and I was in Maryland. So I came out here, but I never thought I'd live in Arizona. And
Mm,
here I am.
here you are.
Jessa, thank you so much. You guys, thank you for watching. Please do me a favor. Hope everybody's liking and commenting. Go follow her on social media. She's taking a break, but she's a great follow. And actually, I told her Jessa should be like a social media, like teacher, or like do people's social media pages, because she's really good at social media, you guys. So go check out the Revolutionary Muse on IG. Are you on TikTok as well?
I am. Everything is same handle, at Revolutionary Muse.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys go follow her and reach out to her and get those books, Prolific, on Amazon,
Woo,
Tabu.
woo.
And I didn't realize. So yeah, it's TABU, and then Blurred
Because
Lines
you
and
want to know
Soul
something?
Eyes.
Taboo,
Say it again.
Tabu. Tabu, the full title is The Art of Being Unleashed. So that's what it stands for. The Art of Being Unleashed. Taboo.
Ah, I love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Ah,
All right.
you
You
guys
guys
are
come
awesome.
back and leave a comment. Remember, I asked you after the show's over, come back and leave a comment, raise it in the algorithms, and share it, because this is such an inspiring story. And I'm glad you were unleashed and escaped and free from Hollywood and LA. Yes, my friend.
It's a
Thank you.
blessing to know you and have each other in our lives. And cheers to much, much more to come.
Yes, thank you. This was great. All right. Have a good one, you
Thank
guys.
you all.
All right. Bye.